Now, I want to take you guys over to an update on the Burnett family killings that were in Louisiana, where the children were found in Mississippi. He was in court in New Orleans on Friday, June the 28th, and was formally charged with kidnapping and transportation of a victim across state lines. So they've got a preliminary hearing scheduled for July 12th. They're not showing any of this. Shoot, that's the same day that they're having that Swan Boat Club hearing. So we'll see. I don't know. He was extradited from Madison County, Mississippi to Paquimans Parish, where he's being held under federal custody. And they explained all that before, that in Tangier Parish, Callihan and his alleged accomplice, Victoria Cox, who is 32 years old, were both charged with first-degree murder. The duo faces capital murder charges in Mississippi. Officials in Louisiana have insisted that Callihan and Cox be tried in Louisiana first, since the crimes originated in Tangier Parish. So I still don't know how they're going to do all that. And if you guys aren't familiar, this is the guy that, said he was guilty and he should be put to, death or whatever. Burnett's body was found stabbed multiple times in her Laranja home on Thursday, June the 13th. An Amber Alert was then issued for her two missing daughters, who were found hours later in a wooded area in Jackson, Mississippi. Her 4-year-old was found dead of what officials believe was likely asphyxiation or suffocation, and her 6-year-old was found alive but injured in a nearby vehicle. They didn't go into details about the other child's injuries. Callihan was taken into custody near where the girls were found, and the police chief in Jackson described a horrific scene unfit for any father or law enforcement officer to witness. A new federal criminal complaint lays out Callihan's description in brutal detail of his alleged crimes. Callihan allegedly told investigators he had stabbed Callie Burnett approximately 30 times in Laranja, and he said he had wanted to kill her for some time. He also alleged admitting he killed the 4-year-old Erin Burnett and decided to keep her older sister as a sex slave, the document suggests. And they are confirming that they think that the baby, the 4-year-old that was killed, Erin, was done so in Mississippi. So now they've got this on Scribd. So it's kidnapping, transportation with intent to engage in criminal sexual activity. Okay, I guess I'll read this, but this is the probable cause stuff. So this is kind of a summary of it. Oh, you guys, we're talking about some children in this, so please, viewer discretion is advised. So it says, this is the probable cause. Callihan kidnapped 2 minor children in Laranja, Louisiana, and transported them by vehicle to Jackson, Mississippi. Plate readers tracked the vehicle used by Callihan from Laranja to Jackson, and surveillance video from a McDonald's in Macomb shows Callihan with the vehicle and what appears to be the 2 minor children. United States Marshals located Callihan on Terry Road in South Jackson, and they located the 2 minor children nearby on property at Boozier Drive. One of the 2 children was deceased prior to the Marshals locating Callihan on Terry Road and discovering the 2 minor children at the property. A witness had observed Callihan and the 2 minor children on the property. Callihan was arrested and taken into custody. During his custodial interview, Callihan confessed to the murders of Callie Burnett and her minor daughter, and the theft of Burnett's vehicle and disposing of her cellular phone, and his intent to keep the living minor as a sex slave. Jesus, this is awful. So they've marked out some of this affidavit on here, right? It says, so because she's a minor, they're not going to show all this, but apparently what she told police did correlate with what Callihan had said. It just said physical evidence indicated that blah, and then it's all blacked out. Since on or about Thursday of June 13th, law enforcement authorities in Laranja, Louisiana, within the Eastern District of Louisiana, have been investigating the kidnapping of a minor victim, 1 and 2, from their residence. At approximately 8 a.m. Thursday, June the 13th, the minor victims' grandparents traveled to the residence of the minor victims and their mother, Callie Burnett, after being unable to contact Burnett. Upon arriving at the residence of minor victims and Burnett in Laranja, Louisiana, minor victims' grandparents discovered Burnett deceased in a state that indicated her death was not the result of natural causes, and the minor victims missing. A vehicle belonging to Burnett was also missing. I'm skipping the details because we don't need all that stuff about the car. Um, and then the grandparents notified law enforcement. Law enforcement officials requested historical license plate, which was a result in multiple positive responses indicating that the vehicle had traveled in the direction of Jackson, Mississippi. One of the positive responses placed the vehicle in Byram, Mississippi on June 12th of 2024 at approximately 6:05 p.m. Law enforcement authorities obtained video surveillance footage from McDonald's. It showed Callihan attempting to change a tire on the vehicle. You remember Dixie had said that he called her wanting help about the flat tire, Dixie, his half sister. The video footage further showed two small individuals who appeared to be minors in the rear seats of the vehicle while Callihan was attempting to change the tire. On or about Thursday, June the 13th, Dixie Hempfield, Callahan's sister, notified law enforcement authorities that she had received messages from his Facebook account on June 12th. Hempfield stated that the messages from Burnett's Facebook account indicated that he was using the account and was the author of the messages. Callihan, using Burnett's Facebook account, told Hempfield that he had done something bad and needed gas money. Callihan asked Hempfield to send him money via the mobile payment service Cash App. Hempfield contacted law enforcement authorities at that point. On June 13th of 2024, the United States Marshals Task Force searched the area near Byram, Mississippi, the last known location of the vehicle. They located and apprehended him on Terry Road in Jackson, Mississippi, while members of the U.S. Mississippi Task Force were staging, which is near the location of Terry Road, where Callihan was ultimately found, to search for Callihan. Two civilians approached them and said that they had recently heard two children screaming from the woods approximately 50 yards behind a residence located down the road. A picture of the house is included. I'll see that. See, I had said too that I thought that the reason that he murdered the youngest was because she was being so noisy and loud and may have been crying a lot. So the vehicle was located approximately 20 yards behind the house. The investigation has revealed that the residence is partially unfinished and there appears to be no permanent residence. Rather, a variety of individuals appear to use the house and stay there for periods from time to time. See, that's the shady part. That's shady, y'all. Something's not right there. That's the part where they were thinking it could be a ring of traffickers. Callihan was arrested and taken into custody. Minor victim 2 was alive and was removed from the scene. And then they secured the scene and began the recovery of the minor victim. So they found her in that house. Okay. You know, they kept talking about they found them in the woods or whatever. I kept thinking they were out in the woods. I didn't realize they were in a house. Subsequently, an adult male approached law enforcement and said that he had been present in the Boozier Drive residence in the prior days. The individuals whose state-issued identification reflected a current address of the Boozier Drive residence told law enforcement authorities that he observed Callihan and the two victims on the property and inside the residence during the time period of June 12th and June 13th. On June 13th, law enforcement personnel conducted a custodial interview of Callihan. The interview was recorded, and after being advised of his Miranda rights, Callihan waived his right and made a voluntary statement, which included the following pertinent information. All right, guys, again, viewer discretion. Callihan stabbed Burnett approximately 30 times in her Lauranja, Louisiana residence. Callihan had wanted to murder Burnett for some time. After he stabbed Burnett, Callihan removed both the children from her home into her vehicle. He then drove himself and the minors into Mississippi and took the minors to the Boozier Drive residence. When they arrived at the Boozier Drive residence, minor victims were crying and did not want to stay with him. Eventually, he decided to kill the first little girl. Callihan decided to keep the other one alive as a sex slave. While Callihan had custody of minor victims 2, oh God, they've got this redacted, so I don't even know what happened there. Oh, bless. This little girl is just, she's going to need so much therapy. Can you imagine? He probably killed her little sister right in front of him, right in front of her. And then who knows if they witnessed their mother being stabbed? The minor victim was transported to the University of Mississippi Medical Center. After her recovery, when discussing the events since her abduction from her home, she disclosed something that's redacted. A physical examination conducted by a medical professional revealed, y'all, I think we don't need to really read between the lines on that one. We know what that means. So they got him on kidnapping and transportation with the intent to engage in criminal sexual activity. For just that part. Wowzer. This is just awful. I'm not going to play what he said again because he's stupid. So that's kind of an update on Callihan. Well, for right now anyway. I might come back to that piece. Most importantly, these are the victims that we need to remember. Jesus, that's awful. I kind of want to know more details about. They said she had dated him at some point. It seems like he was really, his mental health was, this Daniel guy, his mental health was just declining over the years. But he had always been doing drugs and everything. But see, I want to understand what happened with Victoria Cox and how she's linked into all this. Did she come to his rescue when he had the flat tire? Or was she involved from the whole from the get-go? It doesn't really say. Let me see something. And I don't think we will really know all the details until the case comes up.